He want me back her here, don't can't get no coochie out the. He want me back her here, don't can't get no coochie out the. So the owner of Lululemon once said he only wants a certain type of person, wearing the brand. Well, let's talk about why this is a branding nightmare and let's get into it.
Why did I come back for this? Okay, look, by far the most requested topic I've had in my brief YouTube career is a closer look at Lululemon. I made that video about Alo Yoga, and a video about Lululemon seems like a natural follow-up. But the problem is I need to be personally aggrieved in some way in order to make a video about a topic. And unfortunately, as much as we know that the founder of Lululemon is a huge asshole, they have the unfortunate benefit of making clothes that I generally like. I've got shorts from Lulu. Someone gifted me a quarter zip. I only wear Calvin Klein's and Lulu boxers. If you are interested in what kind of underwear I wear, for some reason. But while Lululemon has failed the incredibly easy task of making me mad, the TikTok discourse around Lululemon has succeeded in making me want to suffocate myself with a pair of joggers.
Then of course we remember, all the controversy around the comments he made about, only certain types of people need to be wearing the brand, which caused a lot of controversy online. Now, his biggest fear is coming true.
I really don't want to do this today, guys. I really don't want to do this. My face has been lasered again. I know you can tell the sacrifices I make at the altar of beauty, etc., etc. But okay, fine. I'll dive into this because according to TikTok, wearing Lululemon is now ratchet. But before we examine this terminal case of TikTok brain, let me regale you with a brief history of Lululemon and its founder, man with strangely long arms, Chip Wilson. Lululemon is really the pioneer of athleisure. We have to remember that. Chip founded the company in Canada in 1998, and in the intervening decades it became a one-stop shop for yoga apparel and eventually the catch-all term of athleisure. They opened their first physical store in 2000 and went public in 2007. And famously, the name Lululemon has literally no meaning. Chip only came up with it because it had 3 L's in the name, which apparently in Japanese there's no L sound, so he thought it would sound more Western to Japanese ears, which apparently Chip's former company had been big in Japan, as he explains. The reason the Japanese liked my former skateboard brand Homeless was because it had an L in it, and a Japanese marketing firm wouldn't come up with a brand with an L in it. L is not in their vocabulary. It's a tough pronunciation for them. So I thought, next time I have a company, I'll make a name with 3 L's and see if I can get 3 times the money. It's kind of exotic for them. I was playing with L's and I came up with Lululemon. It's funny to watch them try to say it. I mean, I just love this guy so much. He's like a supervillain, except his only superpower is just being like a mildly offensive asshole. I came up with a brand with 3 L's because I figured the more L's, the more Japanese money I'd get. They love spending money on shit they can't pronounce. I mean, at a certain point, don't hate the player, hate the game, because it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation at this point. But still, this guy. But it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation that Chip Wilson is no longer in control of, because he gave up the CEO position in 2005 and the chairman of the board position in 2014 after saying some incredibly stupid things about his customers, women, and women who are his customers. Stupid things such as mediocrity is doing an okay job, having a relationship that works, being just a little overweight, or having a job that pays the bills. Most people live in a state of mediocrity. Mediocrity is as close to the bottom as it is to the top. Breast cancer also came into prominence in the 1990s. I suggest this was due to the number of cigarette-smoking power women who were on the pill and taking on the stress previously left to men in the working world. Let me tell you, this guy is nothing but good for a soundbite. And in 2013, he suggested that it wasn't a quality issue that had led to a recall of some of Lululemon's pants, but rather the size of certain women's thighs that were to blame, saying, quite frankly, some women's bodies just actually don't work. It's really about the rubbing through the thighs, how much pressure is there over a period of time, and how much they use it. And listen, say what you will about Aloe's known quality issues with pilling and things of that nature. I mean, I'm literally wearing Aloe sweats right now that are slowly unraveling as we speak, but at least no one from Aloe has ever gone on national TV to say that the reason my pants are coming apart is because I'm too fat. Like, can you imagine? It's 2013, the Club Penguin servers are still online, Barack Obama is president, but your Lululemon sweatpants are like having some pilling issues, so you email support and they hit you back with, Why are you so fat? And of course, there is the all-time Hall of Fame level Chip Wilson quote that came just last year in 2024, off the heels of some more inclusive Lululemon advertising. And I quote, "They're trying to become like the Gap, everything to everybody." And I think the definition of a brand is that you're not everything to everybody. You've got to be clear that you don't want certain customers coming in. Once again, for a guy who looks like a poorly proportioned Santa Claus dupe, he sure has a lot to say about people's bodies. If you are not a literal supermodel, and probably a literal white supermodel, Chip Wilson wants you to stay the f*** out of Lululemon. And to go along with his weird obsession with what counts as healthy, he of course hates the term athleisure. Writing in his book, "To me, athleisure denotes a non-athletic, smoking, Diet Coke drinking people in a New Jersey shopping mall wearing velour tracksuits. Too much leisure, too little athletics." And once again to Chip, from the bottom of my Diet Coke drinking, New Jerseyan heart, I hope when you get to hell, everyone there is dressed in juicy couture and the only restaurant in sight is a strip mall McDonald's. But I digress, because at the end of the day, if there's one good thing we can say about this era of rampant capitalism that we live in, it's that money talks. And the money talked and told Chip Wilson to get the f*** out of town, because Wall Street is trying to sell leggings here, not debate how skinny you have to be considered snatched. And let me tell you, it's worked like a charm. It's worked like a charm, because in the decade since Chip Wilson has been removed from the company, Lululemon has been making money hand over fist. Their operating margin is consistently higher than their competitors. Every year they've seen record profits, and they've really successfully positioned themselves as the everyday athleisure brand. Like, even as their sales of yoga clothing have leveled off, they successfully gone into menswear, selling pants and shirts that are comfortable for both golf and Zoom meetings, and just in general really profiting off of the pandemic era relaxation of dress code standards. Though I'm pretty sure this is a uniquely American thing, because honestly, the one time I went out in Paris with sweatpants on, I felt like I was a leper who was 5 minutes away from being arrested for crimes against the French people. It really does feel like we dress like slobs in comparison to Europeans. Like, I will proudly wear PJ pants to go to Whole Foods hungover, but I'm pretty sure that would land me in The Hague if I did it in Europe. I don't know though. Europeans, please weigh in below. But really, my whole point in going down this rabbit hole of Chip Wilson quotes is to remind you that his philosophy failed. He was wrong about athleisure. His clothes aren't just for snatched yoga instructors. It's for everyone. It's for people who run religiously. It's for Jim, who's more familiar with the inside of his cubicle than he is with his own children. It's for, I don't know, Cindy, who's on her way to Trader Joe's. It's light, it's breathable, it's high quality, though some people are saying that it's going downhill, but it's up to now high quality. It's comfortable clothing that's meant for the gym, but also comfortable in life in general. And I'm sure that's diluted the value of the brand for some who think that their $100 pair of leggings confers some degree of social status. And those shoppers have likely gone over to Aloe or some other trendy athleisure brand. And that's okay. That's why different brands exist, okay? I need something that's not going to fall apart after 2 washes, and you need something that'll get you clout and Erewhon. We can both get what we want. But ultimately, you'd rather be the owner of Nike than the owner of Aloe. And make no mistake, Lululemon's end goal is overtaking Nike as the end-all be-all athletic wear brand. And also, obviously, there have been controversies along the way that don't have to do with Chip Wilson. My favorite is this one in 2007 with their line of clothes called Vitacy, which was apparently made with seaweed and included, quote, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, hydrating, and detoxifying benefits. Claims that they were forced to remove after they were clearly found out to be which, look, is it really a wellness adjacent brand if you aren't just completely making things up about the health benefits of your brand? I mean, the market we're shooting for here are people who inject sea moss gel into their veins thinking it's going to cure cancer. Also, according to a New York Times investigation, they had the shirts tested for seaweed and they didn't even have any. So not only was Lulu lying about the benefits of their sushi wrapper clothes, they were also lying that the clothes included any sushi wrapper to begin with. Like, even I don't know what's real and what's not at this point. Am I inside a Lululemon, or is it an Inception type thing going on? Where's Leonardo DiCaprio? I mean, what is happening here? And speaking of aborted product launches, just this summer in July of 2024, they also had to remove these new breeze-through leggings from store shelves. Apparently, these leggings were billed as seamless in the groin area, but ended up having some major fit concerns. As the New York Post so bravely writes, for $98, is the possibility of bulging muffin tops and thong-like seams worth it for a lack of camel toe? The women of the internet think not. Absolute poetry. Thank you for that.
The breeze-through leggings are no more. But good for Lululemon for actually listening to their customers and their customers' feedback. I was pretty kind in my review. The fit is bad. The fit is bad.
But okay, that's enough of all that. You take my point that along the way, there have been a lot more than 3 L's when it comes to Lululemon. So with all that out of the way, let's tap back in now with the TikTok Yap Squad and see what's been going on with Lululemon these last couple of weeks. Okay, so here's what we got. There's this trending TikTok audio at the moment, which to people born after 2006 is what we used to call a song. And that song is Pluto and YK Niece's Whim Whammy, which includes a reference to Lululemon. Allow me to read you these lyrics real quick, just so we're on the same page. Big Pluto, bitch, like what the fuck? Sliding down Ashby with the brew, you know we deep as fuck. Parentheses, we deep as fuck. He want me bad, heard he a duck. Can't get no coochie out the queen, puts a Lulu on this butt. Parentheses, Lululemon. And that's pretty much it, but this song is doing numbers on TikTok right now. And I mean, I'm talking Gangnam Style numbers.
Can't get no coochie out the queen, put some Lulu on that butt. That Lululemon.
Big Pluto, bitch, like what the fuck?
And you know what? I say good for Miss Pluto and YK Niece. I mean, they've got a music video. They're fitted up like Serena Williams performing Whim Whammy in the club. And I mean, good for them. What do you guys want? I mean, Lululemon at the club? It's outside the box thinking, sure to say, but you know, they're taking creative risks, which is more than I could say about you. But for some people, it's a step too far. And I would say the discourse has 2 lanes here, and I can't believe I'm calling it discourse, but let's just go with it. On the one hand, there's the people who are saying you shouldn't be wearing Lululemon for a night out. No Lululemon in the club, it's out of control. No wearing Lululemon with heels, it's out of control. And 2, on the other hand, is the people who are saying Lululemon has a brand issue because of this, Lululemon is being destroyed by this, it's all over for Lululemon. And their evidence for this is reasons. So let's dive into both of these hypotheses, which I'm sure have been thoroughly researched and peer reviewed. So for the first argument, you shouldn't be wearing Lululemon in the club. And to be honest, I don't have a ton of counter arguments against that, guys. I mean, listen, I'm doing my best here. Honestly, the main point I can come up with against this is who is actually doing this. Because I haven't found a shred of evidence that anyone is wearing Lululemon to the club, except for Pluto and YK Niece, who, you know, it's like their whole thing. It's part of the song, it's part of the act. Which is how I kind of end up at the same problem I have as I do with many TikTok discussions, which is just a bunch of people discussing a problem, but there's no actual evidence that the original problem existed. Like, I could go on TikTok tomorrow and make a video saying that we need to stop all the people who are trying to have sex with those red orbs outside of Target. And it would get 2 million views. There would be community groups dedicated to stopping the orb f***ers. Even though I just made it up. Granted, I'm sure that this is happening. The Lululemon in the club stuff, not the orb stuff. But is it really to the degree that the public outrage suggests it's happening?
Lululemon and heels to the club. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the sets are beautiful, but at the end of the day, it really is still activewear, like.
And secondly, for the women who have popped out in the Lululemon heels combo, listen, I'm just saying, call me a madman, but I think they're getting a fit off. I see the vision, okay? I'm not saying that there isn't flaws in the execution, but I understand the concept. And I have a video in mind, guys, all right? It's called Why Your Grandparents Have More Aura Than You. And I want to go deeper into why old folks generally have more style and just aura than we do. And part of that video that doesn't exist, and probably never will, is that they've just seen all of this bullshit before. They've seen every trend come and go. They could look at this fit and tell you, oh yeah, activewear with heels, just like Rihanna was doing in 2019, or Kim K was doing when she was a walking billboard for her ex-husband, the artist formerly known as Kanye West. None of this is new. We are bound to do the same things over and over again, every week of every year until we die. Everything has already been said, everything has already been worn, every new idea you have, someone else has had it before. And now that you're having an existential crisis, let's get into the second thesis, which is that this is somehow a massive problem for Lululemon. So let's go back to Brie, the self-proclaimed brand expert, who according to her website doesn't have any brands that she's ever worked for or worked with, but like me, she's got a microphone, and that's all the qualifications that you need nowadays.
So with this, you're going to have a classic case of like brand dilution and cultural crossover. Once a brand starts to become part of mainstream culture, same thing that has happened with Gucci, Louis Vuitton, all the things, those are shifting due to accessibility. The real issue here is trying to gatekeep your brand identity because it is hard to do.
Okay, so first of all, she's wrong because she's sort of conflating Lululemon with really high-end luxury brands like Gucci and Louis Vuitton. And Lululemon sells running shorts. Granted, I understand that Lululemon is on the higher end for activewear. $100 for leggings is still $100. But at the end of the day, Lululemon is still trying to attract every kind of person into the store. They want it to be a brand for everyone, for every day, for every use case. She's right in that the brand today is Chip Wilson's nightmare, but Chip Wilson. Why is she saying that Chip Wilson was right? Based on what? Why would the current CEO of Lululemon, who looks like the most grating youth pastor, ever listen to you? Do you know what would happen if I walked into a Lululemon, walked up to the closest 30-year-old white woman I could find and said, hey, how did that song by Pluto and YK Nice affect your perception of this brand? You know what would happen if I did that? She would clutch her purse a little tighter and say, who the is Pluto? Pluto? That thing that used to be a planet? There's Lululemon on Pluto? Get away from me, I have pepper spray. The problem with TikTok, guys, one of the many problems, is that people who are on there believe it's real life. Same thing with all social media, to be honest with you. But you'll be shocked to know that Pluto and YK Nice making a club banger does not have the power to affect Lululemon's stock price. And before anyone pulls up Lululemon's stock chart, which I know doesn't look ideal, just know that one, it's still higher today than it was in the summer, and the downward slope was more because of unrealistic Wall Street expectations, who always need you to be making $18 billion more than you were making yesterday. And also the stock price was recovering before Trump decided to tank the economy. Nobody cares, guys. Nobody cares. The Pilates princesses, the golf dads, none of those people care about a rap song on TikTok. You crave exclusivity so hard. You so badly want this Lululemon to confer some degree of status. You want Lululemon to come out and be like, no, we're for rich whites only. And it's so weird and pathetic. Go ahead, Brie. Sell us the chorus. I know it's coming.
Next week, we're getting into all things branding strategy step by step for 6 weeks in the Purpose Brand Academy. We have 4 days left until seats are closed, seats are filled. We will no longer be taking anyone.
Yep, you guys make sure to sign up if you want to learn about branding from someone who knows nothing about branding. And again, side note here, but this is just the natural conclusion of the hot takes based economy that we live in today. Just people farting out of their mouths to sell you something, trying to monetize even the most innocuous of internet trends. Oh, here's a bunch of women feeling themselves to this trending audio on TikTok. This is basically the end of Lululemon. We are so desperate to make Chip Wilson's worldview accurate. We are so desperate for one rap song and 3 black women wearing Lululemon to be the end of a brand, that this is somehow making the brand, quote, ghetto and undesirable. So desperate for the logo on your leggings to mean anything more than the store you bought them from.
Hands down, the only people who cared about Lululemon as a status symbol were the 12-year-old girls using their dad's credit card, being more concerned about where the logo was. Now, when we get into adulthood and we buy Lululemon, we're buying it for functionality.
You can call it classism. You can call it racism. Me, I'm just gonna call it what it is, which is fucking stupid. There is no doubt that Lululemon has tried to convey a white, upper middle class brand image. But that image is bullshit, because at the end of the day, the only thing you need to buy a $100 pair of leggings is $100. Stop trying to help them maintain that brand image. Like, they're a soulless corporation. They don't love you. They don't care if you're white or black, as long as your money is green. But look, you're not here for me to complain about other people's hot takes. You want to know my hot take. And my take is, as always, just do whatever you want. The internet. Is Lululemon the most sustainable, ethical brand that has ever existed? No. But are they the worst that has ever existed? Also no. And at the end of the day, you need something to wear to the gym, to Trader Joe's, to Pilates, etc. Do your own research, buy whatever you want, don't buy more of it than you need, and for the love of God, don't let anyone judge you unless it's me, because honestly, Lululemon in the club is a bridge too far.